All right, welcome everyone. As we learn, sponsored by AB Spry, L'Refuah Shalema for Taiba Reis Bas Hinda. We're also sponsored by Shali Zeitlin for his children, Eli, Orit, and Ora, and L'Refuah Shalema for Moshe ben Esther Fradel and Shimon ben Sarah Miriam. We also are sponsored for the physical, spiritual, emotional protection of Yeshua Menachem Mendel ben Bela Shendel Rivka. As we mentioned, we learn for Eretz Yisrael and the world over that in this perilous time with Iran, all Yidden should be safe and well. We are holding 2 lines from the bottom of Daf Mem Aleph Amud Beis. 2 lines from the bottom of Daf Mem Aleph Amud Beis. Hahuda Amalei Lechavre. Here, I say to Yaakov Warman, who skipped town because he's in trouble, I say to him, Hovli Shis Meya Zuze, the Masiknabach. Give me the 600 zuz that I have a claim on you. Amalei, so he said to me, V'loi pireticha meya kave. Did not Rabbi Weiss, I pay you 100 kav of aftze, of golnat, the kaima b'shita shita, each kav was worth 6 zuz, so that's 6 times 100, Rabbi Weiss. If you take out your calculator, that's 600. So I already paid you. Amalei, so I said to Yaakov, was jetzt the narish? La bar 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 v'kaime, wasn't the golnat 4, and therefore it's only 400 that you gave me. Give me the other 200. So Asatrei Sadeh, 2 witnesses came and said, V'amru in ba'arba v'kaime, that it was worth 4. And therefore, Yaakov owes me another 200. Now, Yaakov says, oh, then I must have paid you the other 200. If it was only worth 4, then I must have gave you the other 200. And he's willing to swear to that effect, that I gave you the other 200. Says Amar Rabba hooks a kafran. Since he said that the kav was worth 6, and it turns out that it was 4, he was lying, and therefore, since he's lying, he's not trusted to swear anymore. So the Gemara says, Amar Rami Bachama ha Amrit. But didn't we say that Kol Milsa de Loi Rami Alei de Inshe Lavadaite? I mean, he's not a golnut seller, so this is not something that was on his mind. So he could have made a mistake. He thought it was 6, it was 4. Says the Gemara, no. If he's paying me 100 kav of golnut, then he's very aware of the rate of golnut. Amalei Rava Ketsusa de Tira, the rate of exchange at the time, Mitkir de Kirei. People know. And therefore, if Yaakov said it was 6, and it was really 4, he holds a kafran. And once he holds a kafran, then he can't swear anymore that he gave me $200 to make up the difference. So, fork it over. Make sure on your way back. Says the Gemara, or you could sell it to me now. Says the Gemara, look at that, he just disappeared. I'm telling you, I asked him for money, and he disappears. Ha'uda amalei lechavre, and here he is. I say to Yaakov, Hovli meya zuzei de mesiknabach. For Yaakov, this is small cash. Give me the 100 zuz that I have a claim on you. V'hashtara. And here's the document. Here's the note. Yaakov, you're off the hook. Barry is coming. So Ahudam Alei Lechavre, and you know, whenever it says Chavre, it's B'gematria Barry cement. So Ahudam Alei Lechavre, I say to Barry, Hopefully Meir Zuzi the Masiknaba. Give me the 100 zuz that you owe me, V'hoshtora. And here's the IOU. Amalei Paraticha. So Barry says, I already gave you 100. Amalei, so I say to him, Hano Sitroininu. That was for a side thing. That was the $100 because, I gave you 10 power benchings. That was a sad side thing. Amar Rav Nachman says that once I admit that he did give me $100, Isra Shtara. The shtar is weakened. Now, what does that mean, Isra Shtara? That's a big mystery. What does it mean? Is it a good shtar or is not? Is it weakened? What does it mean? The answer is that once the shtar is weakened, if Barry doesn't have a metaltalin, I can't use it to take real estate. Shtar usually creates a lien on real estate. Now, I don't mean that I can't take his nechasim b'nei chayrin if he has available real estate, but if he sold real estate to Gedalia, and my shtar predated Gedalia's purchase, I can't take it away from Gedalia because the shtar is weakened. Rav Papa says no. Lo yisru shtar. I to be honest with you, I don't know why my shtar should be weakened. Barry says he paid me $100. If he paid me $100, why didn't he take back the shtar? I have a very good argument. Barry, that $100 was for power benches. You say that it was because of the debt. If it was because of the debt, why didn't you take back the shtar? So the Gemara tells us that Rav Papa says, Lo yisr shtar. The shtar is not weakened. Says the Gemara, but Rav Papa does say isr shtar in a related case. Where I say to Barry, give me the 100 zuz that I have a claim on you. And here's the IOU. So Barry says to me, remember, why did I take the money from you? Because I wanted to buy oxen to slaughter. And you came to the butcher shop when I was selling the meat, the kabila zuzach, and right there and then you got your money. The amalei, and I say, yeah, but I know citroinin. That was money for something else. Rav Papa says it's rishtara. So you see that Rav Papa does hold that the shtar is weakened. Says no, there it's because since the loan was to buy the animals, it makes sense. Therefore, I said, okay, the loan is to buy the animals. As soon as you shech the animals, I'm going to get back my money. Hasam kaven the ka'amar atorei, obviously you gave it to me for the oxen. Umitorei shoklas, and as soon as I shechted it, you took it from the oxen meat, which is mustavi. You're collecting back the money of the loan. Isra shtar. There, it makes sense that the shtar is weakened. Since I admit I took it from the meat, the shtar is weakened. But over here, we don't have that kind of circumstantial situation. It's possible that it was money for power benchings, and therefore the shtar is not weakened. So what's the maskana? My avi Allah, what's the maskana? Rapapi Amar lo yisr shtar. The shtar is not weakened. I'm holding the shtar. Barry says he gave me money. I say that money wasn't for the debt. That money was for 10 power benches. I gave him a deal, Nachnitzu. Power benches are $25. I gave him 10 for 100. Give me a break. Rav Shesha Brei Ravimi Ama Isra Shtar. No, the shtar is weakened. Since I admit that I got $100 from him, the shtar is weakened. Mihilchasa Isra Shtar. And halacha is that the shtar is weakened. However, and here is something that it's a piece of the puzzle that would have been easier for us to digest if we talked about it in the beginning. This is only where Barry gave me the $100 in front of witnesses. You see, otherwise I'll tell him, you know what? I could have said I didn't get the $100. I still have the shtar. And therefore, migu that I could have said that, I should be believed to say that it was for power benches. So the Gemara says, you're right. You're right. It's only if Barry gave me the $100 in front of witnesses, he just didn't remember to take back the shtar. If Barry claims he gave it to me not in front of anybody, I could say I didn't get it. I still have the shtar. I didn't get anything. I could have said that I didn't get anything. It never happened. Otherwise, you should have taken back the shtar. I'm believed to say it was for power benchings. Like there was an exact case like that with Avimi, the son of Rabbi Avo. Now, let me just welcome everybody in over here. Shimon Klein, Saba, Mel Zachter, Chaim Lerner, Dr. Guy, Dr. Black, Shalom Fogel, Menachem Umansky, Michal, and Rabbi Kranz, Ben Zion Cohn, Yaakov Warman, Barry Cement, Eddie Chazan, Rabbi Kaniel, Naftali Jablin, Nachman Chapler, and time to daven. Oh, yeah, it's Yitzi Muller, Abe Arbach, Ilya Shutman, Yeshua Shmuel Eisenberg. I think Shelley is en route to Phoenix doing a mitzvah over there. I think he's going to a simcha of Yisayimim. Also, Michal Avram Chavin said he's on, so he might not be on and might not be showing. We welcome over here Barish Gesem and Gedalia Engel, Chaim Kramer, Ruvain Shannon. Boy, we're missing a lot of people. We didn't see Aaron Swade the whole week. We didn't see Mark Frankel the whole week. We're missing Ruvain Pollack, Irving Fishbaum. We got to get some of these people back over here, Rabbi Isaac. Call in the cavalry. Okay, now, says the Gemara Vaita. I tell Barry, you know, Barry, you're such an upstanding guy. Don't laugh, everybody. Mehemnisly, you're believed to me. Kol emes da amrit li loy parana. Whenever you say I didn't pay, I trust you. Ozil pare ba'apeisad. Barry owed me $1 million. And he paid me in front of Menachem and Yitzi. Yitzi's not here either. Paid me in front of Menachem and Yitzi. So now I come. Now I excuse me. Here Barry is the one that told me that Rabbi Weiss, you know, you're my Rav. If you say that I didn't pay, I trust you. Kolei Mr. Amritli Loi Parana, if you say I didn't pay, I trust you. Then he goes and pays me in front of Menachem and Yitzi. So I come to him for the money. He said, Rabbi Weiss, I paid you. He said, look, you said it. Whenever I say you didn't pay, you believe me. I'm saying you didn't pay. So look, he said, if you say I didn't pay, I believe you. Ask Rav Papa says, what do you mean? Even though Barry said, look, I believe you more than myself. So if I remember that I paid, and you said I didn't pay, I trust you. I'm not believing you more than two witnesses. Two witnesses said I paid, and that's the halacha. But Barry meant is, Rabbi Weiss, I sometimes get absent-minded. So if you say I didn't pay, I believe you. And that's why I paid in front of Menachem and Yitzi. I'm not believing you more than Menachem and Yitzi, more than two Eidim.
Why don't you just bring the Eidim to court?
That's what no, but the Havamina is you could say, but Rabbi Weiss, you said, Rabbi Weiss, I said I always believe you if you said I didn't pay. I always. So that Gemara had to have I always means even over two Eidim.
Okay.
So I think Gemara says not that way. Ha'uda amalei lechavrei. So here Barry says, Mehem nisli kebeit trei. I believe you like two witnesses. Kol emes da amrit le parana. Here Barry's really putting his foot in his mouth. He said, Rabbi Weiss, I believe you like two valid witnesses. So now Barry is, he's not going to get outsmarted. He pays me in front of three witnesses. Also, parei ba'apei tlasa. He pays me in front of three witnesses. So this way, I can't, if I say you believe me like two witnesses, he said, well, that's why I paid you in front of three witnesses. Amar Papa said, Kibei trei emnei. He believed me like two. Kibei tlasa lo emnei. He doesn't believe me like three. Says the Gemara, wait a second. So you're saying that three witnesses are better than two witnesses? You're going basar opinions? Amalei Rav Huna B'rei Rabbi Shula Papa Ema D'Mrei Rabbanan Daslina Basar Rav Day is that we go according to the majority of opinions. Hani mili linyan umdana, when we're making an assessment on something. The comment in the fishe b'kiyei tvei, the more experts, the better. So there we'll believe three experts over two experts. But Avalinian Eidas, Meya Ketrei or Trei Kameya. 100 is like two, and two are like 100. In other words, if 100 witnesses say that he killed him, and two witnesses say he didn't kill him, we don't execute the man. Because Meya Ketrei and Trei Kameya. And therefore, since Barry says he believes me like two witnesses, therefore, even though Barry paid me in front of three witnesses, that's not good enough, because three witnesses is the same as two witnesses. Now, we get a little bit more tricky. The situation thickens. Lishna Achrina. Hahuda amalei lechavre. Barry says, Mehem nisli kibei trei, I trust you like two witnesses. Kol emes to amrit loy parana. Whenever you say, Rabbi Weiss, that I didn't pay. Also parei ba'apei tlasa. He goes ahead and pays me in front of three witnesses. Papa says, no. Kibei trei hemnei, he only trusted me like two witnesses. Kibei tlasa lo hemnei, he didn't trust me like three witnesses, and therefore, since he gave it in front of three witnesses, he doesn't have to pay me. I'm asking Rav Huna B'rei Rabbi Shua trei kameya omeya ketrei, so it's the same, and therefore, since he believed me like two witnesses, that's equal to his three witnesses. However, v'i amalei kibei tlasa, if he says, Rabbi Weiss, I believe you like three. Now, since two is like three, from the fact he said, Rabbi Weiss, I believe you like three, that means that he wants to register deos, opinions. Then, if if he pays me in front of four, he doesn't have to pay. Because Kavan the Nachas Ladeus, since he said three, so he obviously was counting opinions, Nachas Ladeus. And therefore, once he gives it in front of four, that overrides his belief of me, and then he doesn't have to pay. Okay, now we go to the next segment in the Mishnah. completely different type of Gemara. You don't have to swear about the claim of an imbecile, deaf mute, an imbecile, and a minor. Nor do we impose an oath on a minor. Now, my timer, why don't you have to swear with the claim of a deaf mute, a minor? If you give to a man silver or utensils to watch, and then it's going to be a situation where you impose a Shavuos Shaimim or a Shavuos Pikadon, but it's only if you're capable to give. Only a bardas is capable to give. The Einesinas Cotton Klum, the giving of a minor, has no legal significance. Avol nishboin lekatan ulehektish. But you have to swear to a minor and to hektish. Now that's a contradiction. We just said that you don't swear about the time of a minor. And here it says, but you have to swear to a minor. That you don't swear for a shayt and a cotton. Amarav, Sarav says, Bibo b'tainis oviv. Here the child is making a claim from his father. That he said that you owed his father money. And since it's the claim of an adult, that you owed an adult the money, so therefore you have to swear. If you say that you paid already the father, so you have to swear. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, and it's the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. The Tanya Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer, Pa'amim she'odam nishbe al tainis atzmai. Sometimes a person could swear about his own claim. Now, what does that mean, to swear about your own claim? What does that mean? So, Ketzad, what happens over here is that I tell Barry, Amaloi, I tell Barry, is Barry still here? I think we might have lost him.
Rabbi, I hate to interrupt you. They're fighting in Israel. They're bombing our we dedicate have no mind.
Yeah, we announced that at the beginning of the Shema.
Oh, but I just joined them. Sorry,
Yeah.
my kids are there.
Yeah.
Oh.
We agree wholly with your idea. So again, if let's say Amalai, I say to Shimon, Manala vicha biyadi. There's $100 of your father in my hand. In other words, I owed your father $100. I say to Shimon, I owed your father $100. However, v'achaltiv pras, I paid him 50. So therefore, I'm moide b'mixas. I say that I owed his father 100, but I paid him 50. So here's a case where I swear about something that was orchestrated by myself. Shimon didn't say, you owe my father 100. I say I owed his father 100. I say I paid him 50. So I'm being made of a mixes of my own claim. Harizeh nishba. V'zeu shenishba al tainas atzmai. Now here, there's a very strong reason to say that I shouldn't have to swear.
Yeah. I see what the mix is.
And the reason is because it's a Shavuos Aveda. I didn't have to say anything. Here, I'm saying that I owed 100. In other words, his father gave me a loan of 100, and I paid 50. If you're going to make me swear, I just won't say anything. It's like the wallet. If I return a wallet and then you say to me, but there was $2,000 in it, and there was only $1,000, if you're going to make me swear, I just won't return the wallet. That's Shavuos Daf. So here, the Chachamim say, Chachamim Moimrim, Eino Yela K'meishav Aveda Upater. Now, the Gemara says it's the same thing as over here in our case, where the cotton says that I owe the father 100. Now, in this case, where the cotton says I owe the father 100, I could tell the cotton that I took care of it already. But I say that I paid your father 50. So here I have to say a shvuah to the child. So this is going according to Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov. Says the Gemara, wait a second. Rebbe Eliezer leslei meishav aveda potter. Amarav, so Rav says it's talking about b'shetar no cotton. It's talking about that it's not by my own admission. It's talking about where the child made the claim. So if the child made a claim, it's not Shavuos Daf. Says, well, it can't be cotton. You don't swear about a time of a child. Says the Gemara, Loilam Gadol. He's an adult. But in the affairs of his father, he's like a cotton, because he doesn't know the affairs of his father. Says the Gemara, but if it's the claim of an adult, you can't call that tainus atzmai. Yachi tainus atzmai, tainus acherimi. It's the taina of the adult child. Says the Gemara, well, no, tainus acherim v'idas atzmai. But the I'm admitting to owing 50. Says the Gemara, well, that's every case of Moed B'Miktsas. Kulunami tainus acherim v'idas atzmai nino. Says the Gemara, no. Let me tell you what's going on over here. Really, it's talking about an actual child. And since it's a child, it's considered tainus atzmai, because a child doesn't really have a taina. Although we say that you don't swear to a cotton, here it's because it's on behalf of his father that he's making the claim, you do have to swear. And the problem over here is as follows. Normally, why by Moed B'Miktsas do you have to swear? Normally, by Moed B'Miktsas, I make a claim of Berish that he owes me 100, and he admits to 50. We say, really, Berish would like to deny the whole thing. He doesn't have cash on hand. But he's not going to deny the whole thing because nobody is brazen enough to look at the person that owed him the money and deny the whole thing. Really, he wants to pay the whole thing. He doesn't have the money. So he says half to push me off. So we make him swear that he shouldn't push me off. Question is over here. Over here, a child is making a claim of his father. Shmuel says that I owed his father money. So I admit to half. So Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov holds that if I owed the money, I wouldn't be brazen enough to deny it even to his son. So it's a regular case of Moed B'Miktsas. The Chacham say no. I would deny the whole thing to the son. The son doesn't know it. I had dealings with the father. And therefore I could have denied the whole thing. The fact that I admitted to half, that's a Shavuos Daf. It's a different rule. Let's see it inside. Ela b'derabba kamifligi. The Amar Rabba mibnei ma'amr Torah moidav mixes hatayni yeshava. Why does the Torah say that if you admit to a part of the tiny you have to swear? Chazaka ain't other mayors panas b'nei bal chayva. Berish wouldn't have the chutzpah if I gave him a loan to say he doesn't owe me anything. Really, he wants to deny the whole thing. He doesn't do that. He wouldn't have the chutzpah. Now, he wants to admit to the whole thing. He doesn't admit because he's trying to buy time. When I get the rest of the money, I'll pay the whole thing. Rachmanam, the Torah says, Rami Shmuel, they put a Shmuel on him, the whole time he should admit to everything. Now, Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says that Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says, I'll be embarrassed to even deny the whole thing to the creditor's son. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov said, Loishna boy v'loishna b'benai. Even to his son, Eino Meis. I wouldn't be bold enough to deny the whole thing. Therefore, it's a regular Moida b'mixes and Lav Meishav Abedi. Rabbanan say, B'fanav Udeina Meis. I don't have the chutzpah to do it to the father who gave me the loan. Aval B'fnei B'nai, who doesn't really know what's going on, Meis. I would have the chutzpah. And therefore, since I didn't deny the whole thing, but I admitted to owing half, that's Meishav Avedu. Says the Gemara, wait a second. Mi motzes mukmasak Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov. Hakatani Reisha. The Reisha says clearly, Mana la'aba b'yadcha, that $100 of your father's, $100 of my father's is in your hand. And I say, Ein lach biyodi ela chamishim. No, he only owed me 50. I only owed 50. Potter, mibnei shemeishav avedahu. But Eliezer ben Yaakov says that case is not meishav aveda because it's regular moida b'mixas. Because I wouldn't be brazen enough to deny the whole thing. Says the Gemara Hasam. Over there, it's the loy amabarili, where the son does not say he's definite. The son doesn't say he's definite, so there, where the son doesn't say he's definite, there even Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov agrees that I would have no problem with saying that I don't own anything, because the son isn't even sure. If I admit to 50, even Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov agrees that that's Meishav Aved. Says the Gemara, Hasam d'loy amabarili. Hacha d'amabarili, where the son says that he's certain, there Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says, even to the son, I wouldn't be meiz panav to say I don't owe you anything. So therefore, it's a regular case of moida b'mixas where you have to swear. Shmuel Amar, Shmuel says a whole different shot in the Mishnah. Shmuel Amar lekatan means lepara menichse katan, to collect from the estate of a child. There's a claim that the father owed money, and you want to collect from the estate of a child. And lehektish means that if somebody, property that you have a lien on, was given to hektish, Lipara minichse hektish. Says the Gemara, Lipara minichse cotton. We learned that already. We learned Tanina. Minichse Yisaimim, if you want to collect from orphans, lo yipara ela b'shvua. You know, could only collect with a shvua. Tarte lamali, why does it have to say twice? Says the Gemara, hakamash malan kedabai kashisha. This tells us like Abaya the elder. This is not the regular Abaya of Abaya and Rava. This is another Abaya called Abaya Kashisha. The Tani Abaya Kashisha, Yisaimim Sha'amru Gedalim, the Yisaimim that we say that you could only collect with a Shvua is even if you're collecting from adult orphans. Because even the adult orphans, when it pertains to the affairs of their father, they're like ketanim. Bein l'shvua, whether to impose an oath, bein l'ziburius, that we could only collect from Yisaimim. There's three types of karka, idius, baininus, and ziburius, and it's a protection of the Yisaimim that from Yisaimim you only could take from the most inferior real estate, and that's even adult Yisaimim. So it says in an extra time to tell you even adult Yisaimim, we impose a shvua on you. Lehektish, lepara minichse hektish, that if you want to collect from hektish, we impose a shvua. So again the Gemara says, Tanina, minichasim mishubadim, lo yiparu el b'shvua. Umali mishubadim, and once you could only, what if you're going to collect from mortgage property? So obviously, even if you collect, if Berish owes me money, and he sold a karka to Gedalia, I can only collect from Gedalia with a shvua because of my prior lien. If that's true at Gedalia, so that's surely true at Hegdish. It says the Gemara, Mali Mishvua, excuse me, it says that Benechasim Mishabad Lo Yipar Mishvua, or Mali Mishabad Lo. What's the difference if it's by a commoner like Gedalia, or Mali Mishabad Lo Gevaya, or if it's by Hektish? I should certainly have to make a shvua. Says the Gemara, maybe not. Maybe with Gedalia I might fool around, but I'm not going to start up with the temple. I'm not going to start up with God. You know, it's one thing to fool around with Gedalia, but with God, says the Gemara, I mean, I know Gedalia is going to Ura, but still, it's just, so Kedai Tachamina head, you do the Maisa Knunyal head, you might fool around with a commoner, Aval Hektish, they know the Maisa Knunyal Hektish, Kamash Malon, that if I want to collect from Hektish, I also have to make a Shmua. Says the Gemara, I va'amar Rav Huna, Shchiv Meira, a dying man, shehikdish kol mechasav. He was makdish all of his estate. Va'amar mana leploini biyadi. But he says $100 of mine is previously promised to Ruvain. So the din is neman, and he doesn't have to swear. Chazaka ain't adamaisa kenunya al hektish. A person's not going to mess around with hektish. So you see, we say that a person won't mess around with hektish. Says the Gemara, that's different, because there the man's dying. He's not going to mess around with hektish when he has no personal benefit. He's not going to sin, and he's not even getting anything out of it. But if he's a healthy guy and it's for his own benefit, we might, we're chayshish that maybe he's being dishonest, and therefore he has to swear to hektish. Now, says the Mishnah, the following things you don't have to swear about. Servants, we all know, throughout Shas, we know, we don't swear about real estate, and avodim are huksha l'karkos, they're juxtaposed to real estate. And hektish. And not only that, ein bohem tashlumei kefil, if you steal real estate, avodim, or you steal hektish, you don't pay a double portion. If it's a sheep or an ox and you slaughtered it or you sold it, you don't pay 4 or 5 times. If he's a shomer on real estate, on avodim, or on hektish, he doesn't have to swear that he wasn't negligent. No, you see, sacher ein mishalem. If he's a paid watchman, he doesn't pay in a case of loss or theft. Reb Shimon says, kachim, it depends. Kachim shechayiv biachriyusin. If, let's say, Dr. Block said, Hari alai shlamim, I accept upon myself a peace offering. And he dedicates an animal. But if it gets lost or it dies, he has to bring a replacement. Even though it's hektish, it's still considered his, because it's a davar hagorim l'mammon. The davar hagorim l'mammon, k'mammon dummy. It generates money because he would have to bring a replacement. So therefore, the Mishnah says it depends. If he said Ari alai, so he would have to replace it, and then Gedalia steals it, he has to pay kefil. And he has to swear about it. Nishban aleim. We impose an oath about it because it's considered his money. But if it's not responsible to replace it, he said, Ari zeh, only this animal, then ain't nishban aleim. There's no oath, there's no kefil.
What are we telling him to swear on?
Huh?
What are we telling him to swear?
No, in a case where there would be a shvuah over here, let's say somebody was a shomer on it, he would have to swear whether he was negligent or not. Right. Now, the next thing we learn is that the Mishnah says that there's a cloud that Chala Oimed Livtzar Kibitsurindami. If grapes are ready to be harvested, they're considered as if they're harvested. So the shaila is if I have 10 vines that are ready to be harvested, and you steal those grapes, is that considered like you're stealing karka? Because it's attached to the ground and you wouldn't pay kefil? Or is it considered, since it's oimid livtzar kibitsurindami, it's metaltalin, then you have to pay kefil? And also would be a shaila about swearing about it. Right? Let's say Berish wants to know what the shvuah is. I say that Berish owes me 10 of these laden vines, and he admits to 5. So if you say that kol ha'mechabel karka kekarka dam, he doesn't have to swear, because you don't swear in karka. But if you say that since it's ready to be harvested, it's like metaltalin, then he's being made of a mixus, a metaltalin, and he does have to swear. We'll see it inside. There are things that are attached to the ground, but ve'enon kekarka, but they don't have a din of ground. They don't have a din of karka. Ve'ein chachamim moedim leh, but the rabbis don't agree. Ketzad eser gafonim tu'unos masarti lach. Berish, I gave you these 10 ready vines attached to the ground. V'aloim, and Berish says, Eina el chamish. It was only 5. So since it's ready to be harvested, it's like it's metaltalin. So Rav Meir mechayiv shvuah. V'chacham oimer, no way. Kol ha'mechabel karka hariu kekarka. Whatever's attached to the ground is like the ground. Ein nishpan el al davar shebemida v'shebemishkol v'shebeminyan. You only have to swear on something that's precisely measured, weighed, or counted. Ketzad. I say, welcome Reb Turkel. Ketzad. Bayis molei masarti lach. I say, Berish, I gave you a full house full of grain. or the kiss malay masartilach. I gave you a purse full of coins. And Barry says, I don't know, any idea, I don't know the amount. Elamashi nachta, what you put in the house, what you put in the purse, atanaitel, you took back. So such a case potter. Because you don't swear unless it's measured, weighed, or numbered. However, ze'omer adaziz, if I say to Berish, I gave you until the ceiling beam, the ze'omer adachalain, and he says, no, you gave me only up to the window, then chai, because that's already precise. That you have to swear. Says the Gemara, Tashlume kefil minalan. How do we know that there's no payment of kefil by karka, by avodim? The Tan Rabbanan, I'll call dvar pesha for any matter of trespass, klal. Al shor al chamor al sev al salma, an ox, a donkey, a sheep, a piece of clothing, prat. Al kol aveda, for any lost article, chaz of a klal. Klal or prat, a klal, a generalization, specification, generalization. Iata don elikeina prat. It has to be similar to the specification. Ma prat mefurish davar metaltel. All these things are movable. Shor, chamor. Vigufay mammon, and they have intrinsic value. So also there's no kefil af kol davar metaltel vigufay mammon. Yotzu karkais, that are not movable, shem metalton. Yotzu avonim, shurukshul karkais, that's juxtaposed to kash. Yotzu shtorais, there's no kefil on notes. Shafal pi shem metalton, even though notes are movable, ain't gufay mammon. It's not intrinsic value. A note for $10,000 has no intrinsic value of $10,000. So it's not like a shor that has intrinsic value. Now, how do we know there's no kefil by hektish? Because it says if you steal from re'eyu, from your friend, that hektish is not your friend. Now it says also v'lo yarbo v'chamisha, is no payment of 4 or 5. Now the reason is, even though there is no klal or product klal or miyut re'eyu by arbo v'chamisha, but since part of arba v'chamisha is kefil, and we excluded kefil, then it wouldn't be 4 or 5, it would be 3 and 4, and there's no payment of 3 and 4. My timer, because tashlumi arba v'chamisha amarachmana, v'loi tashlumi shloisha v'arba. So since we excluded already kefil, so therefore there's no payment of 3 and 4, since the kefil is excluded, and therefore there isn't such a payment. Now, Rabbi said we're going to do now for the Shabbos table.